The Zeekr 001, which is just about to be sold in Europe and other countries around the world, and potentially Australia, maybe even America as well, through Volvo dealerships, has received some changes. It now has the new CATL lithium iron phosphate battery, which won the award in Europe for the best technology of the year. And it's interesting to see just how much range you get from this new CATL battery, which it's said will go into the new Tesla Model Y. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to see you. I'll be at Everything Electric in a couple of days' time. Would love to see you there. If you'd like to come, I'll put a promotion code for 20% off tickets in the description below. By the way, if you're wondering when I'll be there on Saturday and on Sunday as well. So come up and say hi. The new lithium iron phosphate battery from CATL has the potential to be charged at up to 600 kilowatt fast charging in cold temperatures and 500 kilowatt in normal temperatures. It's got higher energy density than the previous lithium iron phosphate battery, and it costs the same. It's ridiculous. I mean, what is even more ridiculous is CATL is saying by the middle of this year, their battery prices will have come down 50%. Now, I don't know what that baseline's coming from because that just sounds too good to be true, but that's what CATL are saying. Either way, what matters here the most is battery prices are coming down in line with pretty much what Tony Seba predicted. I keep saying this, but everything he says, not everything, but 9 out of 10 things that he says, he's like a prophet. He just gets them right. Now, when it comes to EVs, it appears as though Tesla, their biggest battery supplier in the world, I'm pretty sure we know, it's CATL. And it sounds like from numerous sources that the new Tesla Model Y Juniper will predominantly use the CATL lithium iron phosphate battery that is going into this Zeekr 001. And what's most interesting about this is that there's two versions of the Zeekr 001. There's a version with the lithium iron phosphate battery, and there's a version with the standard nickel cobalt lithium battery, which is the ternary battery. The battery packs are very similar in size, and we can see the range difference it's almost nothing. So it appears as though there is really no advantage left for ternary batteries. Interesting to see this. I mean, the downside for lithium iron phosphate batteries was meant to be the fact they had lower energy density, but it doesn't look like that's the case anymore. So what's the difference for this new 001? Well, for starters, the battery pack, it's a 95 kilowatt hour CATL lithium iron phosphate battery. And of course, it's the new battery. It gives the car 722 kilometers of range, so more than 400 miles of range. That's massive. And it's massive because we know, right? This is actually more range than a Tesla Model S, but this is a bigger car. The Zeekr 001 is a bigger car, not much bigger, but it's slightly bigger than a Tesla Model S. Same size battery, but it's a lithium iron phosphate battery. It's definitely cheaper than the battery that Tesla purchases from Panasonic in the United States. Lithium iron phosphate, it is not. The Panasonic battery is, of course, a ternary battery, so it doesn't have the advantages of lithium iron phosphate. But you would think, right, the advantage of using that battery pack, the 2170 cells that go into that pack, would be that it would have a higher energy density, but it doesn't appear that it does. It's pretty much the same. You can see the Model Y is probably going to have this battery, which I think is the best battery in the world right now. So what else do we know about it? Well, it's been slightly restyled. It's gotten a bit of a facelift. This Zeekr 001 looks a little bit better than the previous version. And I love this car even more than what I did when it first came out. This is, I think, probably my favorite electric car. So how heavy is the battery pack? This is really interesting. It's very rare that manufacturers will reveal the weight of a battery. And they reveal the weight of the battery of the lithium iron phosphate version and the non-lithium iron phosphate version. So the 95 kilowatt hour battery pack weighs 720 kilograms. So around about 1,500 pounds. 1,500 pounds, 720 kilograms. And then they actually list the weight of the ternary battery. The ternary battery weighs 606 kilograms and it is a little bit bigger. It's a 100 kilowatt hour pack. So what's that make it? It's 5% bigger and it weighs 114 kilograms less. So that's really the only advantage of ternary battery packs. They weigh less. Other than that, I don't think they have any advantages at all. Anyhow, speaking about the 001, what does it come with? What are the models that you can get? Okay, rear-wheel drive, the cheapest version of this car costs around $40,000 in China. 95 kilowatt battery pack, 722 kilometers of CLTC range. So WLT would be around about 650 kilometers. Still around what, just under 400 miles. Now that version, there is also a more expensive version. Four-wheel drive, so front and rear motor, 580 kilowatts. So, nearly 700 horsepower. A 95 kilowatt battery pack, same battery pack, and it has 626 to 675 kilometers of range, depending on the specifications you get with that vehicle. Now, if you go for the bigger battery pack, if you go for the NMC, so nickel, manganese, cobalt, lithium ternary pack, 100 kilowatt hour size, it weighs less, it's 606 kilograms, but it only gets 20 kilometers more range. It's bizarre. I mean, you would think the lithium iron phosphate battery pack being 5% smaller would have, quite a bit less range, but 20 kilometers range difference, 750 kilometers. Still a big range here, guys. We're talking, well over 400 miles of range. EVs, the range is certainly not a factor if you're going to buy a new EV. I think 2025, we're going to see these battery packs even this year in quite a few different EVs, and we're going to see ranges increase in electric cars. So that version, same power in the rear-wheel drive version of that car, 310 kilowatts, just under about 450 horsepower and 750 kilometers of range. Get the more expensive four-wheel drive version, 580 kilowatt, about 750 horsepower, and a 100 kilowatt hour NMC, nickel manganese cobalt battery. Now, you can actually also get a pretty crazy version of this car. It has a 140 kilowatt hour size battery pack, and that's NMC, nickel manganese cobalt battery, with 1,032 kilometers of range. So 600 miles of range. That's the pre-facelift version. So the facelift version might have even more range than that, which is just unbelievable. It's pretty exciting times right now. This will probably be the first 1,000 kilometer or 600 mile range EV that we'll see in the West. There currently isn't anything like this. It'll be exciting to see if this actually comes out in Europe and other countries, America and Australia and other countries, the UK as well. So how big is it? Well, it's 5 meters long, 2 meters wide. It's a pretty big car, slightly bigger than a Model S, but of course it has a more practical boot. That boot space looks to me to be a bit bigger and more practically sized. So what do you guys think about this car? I'm like I said, I'm a huge fan. I think Zeekr makes a really nice electric car. It's not an uber luxury car, but it's certainly very, very nice. The interior is really nice. It's well specified and it looks great. I'm really looking forward to it. What are your thoughts? Thanks for watching.